Welcome to LEAP 2023. Today's topic is all about carbon emission tracking in transportation operations. We're going to be able to provide the insights and the technologies around the carbon emission tracking and calculations in your transportation operations. My name is Furkan. I'm Practice Director for Transportation Management Systems at Westernacher. Today, my colleague Mark is with me to provide you even more insights.
Thanks, Furkan. Companies know that they cannot move on and do business as they have done in the past years. And that comes foremost from 4 different areas that all are heavily impacting business with regards to sustainability aspects. The first and foremost are laws and regulations. The European Union has passed a law that until 2050, companies need to become carbon neutral. And many European countries actually have already passed on this law into their own national regulations. And this is, of course, something where companies now need to really go on that road and transition to a sustainable business. But that is not the only heavy external impact that companies are facing, because consumer behavior is also changing dramatically. Customers are now looking where goods are coming from, how they are sourced, how they are produced, and if these products are sustainable. Next to the external factors, we also have intrinsic internal factors that companies are driving with regards to sustainability. And the big one is that you can actually also save a lot of money when you do a sustainable business. Because if you do not source that many materials or in a sustainable way, you can actually save money in your production lines. And on top of that, with this new, it's not only a trend, but actually this emerging market of having sustainable business, recycling, reusing of materials. This gives new chances to business and companies to really evolve into a new direction and gain new markets and increase their business. All that is known to us, but still, why do we not come up with a good way of calculating our carbon emissions? Why do we still create some anonymous models that do not fit our own business to calculate this footprint? Why do we still not invest into creating a good quality to come up to good results on our carbon footprint? This is something that Furkan and I want to talk about, and also how you as a company can move to an end-to-end sustainable enterprise with SAP technology.
Yeah, when you look at your value chain from an end-to-end perspective, from your suppliers to your distribution centers or all the way down to your end customers, it is important to have data from all these different legs, like you have some sensors about your products. They are moving from an end-to-end perspective. Then you would be able to have an efficient and precise calculation for not only CO2 emissions, but at the same time, you could build models, you could build strategies and plans on top of these topics. SAP Transportation Management and the Westernacher solutions actually provide you this opportunity to come from the transport order level all the way down to a big dashboard with the big picture, where you could see the big picture to create and make decisions. And that's what I was talking about. When you look at your today's transportation planning process, maybe the cost prioritization or the carrier performance are the most important thing. However, the planning process from an end-to-end perspective is being evolved. Now, companies are actually acquiring green corridor, green logistic services from their suppliers to inset their carbon footprint. This is an alternative to the offsetting options where we see on most of the organizations today. And SAP Transportation Management and our solutions enable the logistics planners and dispatchers to select the most efficient carriers for each transport order at the transport order level already. That's very important to forecast, to be able to forecast the CO2 emissions in advance, and then you would be able to harvest all the strategic results and KPIs from an end-to-end perspective. So it starts from the planning, and then you would be able to harvest a lot of different models and strategies.
And as Furkan already mentioned, Westernacher has created its own solution on looking onto transportation operations and taking from there the precise information, your information on carbon emissions, and putting that into a nice dashboard to visualize your emissions, but also have the analytical capabilities of deep diving into these emissions. Let's head over to the demo and show to you what we have created. I want to show to you our Westernacher CO2 Optimizer dashboard for SAP Analytics Cloud. It shows to you all analytical insights into your carbon emissions that are created within your transport operations. To the left side, you can see the different carriers that you're using within your business, like DHL, FedEx. And of course, we want to have a deep look into what is calculated data, in that case called default data, or primary data. So data taken from your telematics in your transport operations. So exact data for your own business. And for sure, you want to first of all get an overview. How many carbon emissions did you create for the individual carrier or per product line? But again, it's very important if you want to steer your carbon emissions, you need to look into the primary and default data, and the more you increase the primary data, the better and more exact the results are of your carbon emissions. So the general idea is you need to decrease all these calculated emissions and increase the share of primary ones to be more precise and have better means to actually steer the outcome. With our dashboard, you are not only able to look into these different areas, but of course, you can also select the different destination countries. And again, here you have a nice view on the shares for primary and default data. Fuel consumption is of course one of the biggest impacts on carbon emissions. And again, here we offer all relevant types like diesel, biodiesel, electric or gasoline to really have a look into your fleet where you have the most emissions and where you can still optimize. This you can all do for the different years in comparison, but also to have a timeline to see how you are improving over time and if you are able to reach the goal of being carbon neutral until 2050. For sure, you do not necessarily need to have for all transport jobs and transport orders primary data each and every day at hand. There are certain routes where you have a fixed route with fixed stops, a fixed truck that basically always goes in the same scenario, and there it is sufficient if you just focus on some test data where you map and track these primary emissions one time and then set this as a default information as a calculated one. This also improves the general quality of your carbon emissions. With the deep integration into SAP Transportation Management, you're capable of getting all this information in real time at your hand. And with all the functionality from SAP Analytics Cloud, you can have that on your desktop PC, on your laptop, or on any mobile device like your tablet or smartphone, all at hand. And for sure, you can share this either on a planned schedule to a dedicated user group or just at short notice as a PDF or PowerPoint to your own liking.
I think it is important here is to point out when you look at the emission factors of your carriers, you may have the biggest emission factors for the carriers that you are not actually working on a daily basis. Majority of the time, our clients, we see that 20-25% of the carriers are actually carrying or moving the 80 to 70% of the cargo on a yearly basis. So therefore, such dashboards are very important to strategize the RFQ processes, the logistics procurement processes, in order to attain the most benefit and put a pressure on greener sources for your carriers in the long run.
In today's session, we have shown to you that it is crucial for businesses to become sustainable in the future to really grow business success.
From bottom to top approach, today we could have shown what is important about the precision in the CO2 emission calculations. It is important to take it from the granular level all the way down to transport orders and take it to the dashboards to make strategic decisions. Eco-consciousness of the customers' behaviors are actually evolving, and it is quite important in the near future to have precise calculations of the CO2 emissions.
With our dashboard, you have the chance to deep dive and get a good overview into different sources of your emissions, which carriers are performing, in which way, your overall trend, a forecast of what you are about to do, and where you have the biggest improvement areas for yourself. This is important to reach the 2050 goal of being carbon neutral. Thank you for joining us, and if there are any questions, please reach out to us.
Thanks.